the Origin SMP, a server that combines funny Minecraft YouTubers with either OP or useless powers known as Origins. So today I'm going to be combining that with Minecraft, and let me tell you, some of these textures were cursed. But before I show you anything, we hit 10,000 subscribers, which is insane. My next sub goal is 15,000, so if you could help me get there, that would mean the world. With that being said, let's jump right into it. So let's start off with a big one, or should I say tool one, and that is Ranboo. So I did use this texture in my last video, which by the way did absolutely insane. Thank you for that, guys. But yeah, his origin is the Enderian. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I think I did. Meaning he can teleport and basically just has Enderman traits like taking damage and water, and obviously being able to teleport, as I said. I personally think that his origin actually fits him perfectly, especially as in the Dream SMP lore, he is an Enderman, and he's obviously got his Enderman traits there as well. So yeah, this was definitely one of my favorite textures in this pack, but let me know what you think. Now Ranboo was quite cool, but look at Schlatt the spider. Now, Schlatt's origin is called Arachnid, which basically means spider. To be honest, I actually think it looks quite good as a spider. I mean, his head can definitely stand out against all the other mobs, and from his body to his legs to his head, in general, I think it's a pretty good retexture. I also like his business suit. I mean, he kind of looks like he's ready to do business or something, and in general, you probably don't want to be coming across this guy with this texture pack, because I promise he will haunt you when it comes to the nighttime. I am now back in the fortress, because we're going to be looking at the Blaze, because they're JackManifold. Now, when Jack actually first joined the server, he was actually stuck in the Nether. Now, the reason why is because he actually spawned there, as he obviously chose the Blaze origin, hence the reason why I obviously made the Blaze JackManifold. He also can't be in the rain, as he will take damage, as a Blaze would as well. I actually really like how the flying sticks things look. I mean, they're kind of just flying around him, and honestly, I would say that JackManifold looks quite good as a Blaze. And yes, while it is less scary than a regular Blaze, they're just as annoying, so take that as you will. Okay, I am now out of the Nether and back in the overworld, because I want to show you what I did with Tommy. The thing is, I made Tommy two different things. I made him the zombie, which as you can actually see over there, and I also made him a chicken. Now obviously, for the zombie, I did literally just put TommyInnit's skin onto a zombie, but the baby zombie is what we're actually focusing on, because obviously the baby zombie is a child, and also it is slightly faster than a regular zombie. At least it looks like it. I'm not 100% sure if that's actually true. Let me know in the comments. But it definitely looks like he's slightly faster, which is actually one of his powers on the Origin SMP. Oh yeah, and I also forgot to mention, I made him a chicken. Now, this chicken has the most overpowered power on the entire Origin SMP, because you see, Tommy has permanent slowful. It's not like any other Origins have that too, and with actual good abilities on top of it. Now, before I show you the next one, make sure you subscribe. But yes, this next one I did recycle from the last video, but I mean, what else could I do for Fundy other than a fox? This fox is honestly so good. I personally think I did a pretty good job on it, and you guys clearly liked it in the last video, judging from the comments I got. And when it sleeps especially, it probably makes it the most cute mob in this entire texture pack, hands down by far. Fundy obviously chose the fox origin, and it has pretty useless abilities, to be completely honest, so it is a bit like Tommy, but basically his powers are that he is slightly shorter, because obviously a fox is quite small. He has a jump boost, which allows him to jump 2 blocks rather than just 1, and he also has an extra inventory, which in my opinion is actually kind of cool. So maybe his origin isn't actually that bad after all, but I mean, compared to the other ones, it's not the best. Now the next one is quite interesting, and that's because it's Technoblade. Weirdly enough, Technoblade chose the human origin, meaning he doesn't actually have any special powers. So for that reason, I made him a villager. Now he has said that at some point he will be getting an origin, so I made the two possible origins that he's probably gonna have, and that is a pig and a wither. Now for this pig, I actually used this texture 3 times in a row in 3 different videos, and there's not really a reason why I should remake it. I mean, it's a pig with Technoblade's clothes and everything, and a crown. I mean, that's basically just Technoblade, and in general, I think it looks quite good, so there's not much reason why I should change it. Now the wither is a bit more than the pig though. As you can see, it's quite insane. fine. It changes colors and everything, obviously, as the regular wither does as well. But the next time Technoblade decides to blow up L'Manberg, he'll be able to do it himself rather than spawning other withers. It also shoots techno heads, which I think is pretty cool. And yeah, in general, I think the wither probably looks better than a regular wither, and it just looks pretty awesome in my opinion, obviously. Now, this one is quite easy because, well, it's literally just Slmccl. I mean, it's literally just him as a slime, as not only his name suggests, obviously Slmccl, but also his origin. Now, on the Origin SMP, his skin is actually transparent, which I think is actually really cool, and I had no idea that you can actually do that. So I made the same thing in the texture pack as well, and yeah, there's not much to add to that. I mean, it's just kind of a slime. Now, Smajor's origin doesn't really correspond with any of the mobs that are within Minecraft. I mean, he can jump really high, shoot lasers, and explodes upon death. So I made him two different mobs. A creeper, because obviously he explodes, and a magma cube, because that's the only mob that I could think of that can jump quite high. To be honest, this creeper is kind of cursed, but I mean, it could definitely look a lot worse, so I'm not complaining about how it looks. Now, his origin is called Starborn, which is why his skin is purple, because, you know, the galaxy and stuff. But in my opinion, his origin, compared to every other origin, is probably my favorite, because not only is it very different to everyone else, but it's also pretty OP. But back to the pack, in general, I think the creeper is just what you would expect if you were to put Smajor's skin onto a creeper. Now, on the other hand, the magma cube, well, it looks like this. I guess it's very similar to the slime, and as you can see, it can jump and stuff, so I guess if you combine the two mobs, you have Starborn. So hopefully you're happy with that one. Now for someone that's quite important on the server, and that is Wilbur. So again, I made him two different mobs. Obviously the Phantom, because, well, the origin is called the Phantom after all. But then I also made him a Vex, because I feel like this kind of shows his origin much better than the Phantom does. So yeah, the Phantom is quite cursed. I mean, it's not as cursed as the next mob, but it's definitely very cursed. As you can see, it has a pretty small head. Also, I like how I made the wings. I mean, I did basically just change the color of the wings from the original, but I do like how they look. In my opinion, yellow Phantoms look quite a bit better than the regular purple ones. But yeah, make sure to get enough sleep, because otherwise this guy is coming for you. And yeah, in general, they can fly and stuff, so that's pretty cool. Now for the mob that actually makes sense for this origin, and that is the Vex, because obviously the Vex is basically a ghost. I mean, it can go through walls and stuff. It kind of sneaks behind you, and they are so scary in my opinion, especially when you're like raiding a woodland mansion. I mean, they rock up with their iron swords and you're basically dead unless you have full netherite armor. So yeah, good luck killing these. Now, Niki is quite an interesting one, and that's because she's a fish. And this is what I did for her. Very, very cursed. I also made her a drowned because, I mean, it kind of makes more sense since it's an actual human. Before I explain this one, Niki, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. I violated you twice in a row now. Last video I made you a spider, now this weird fish thing. But yeah, her origin is basically that she cannot come out of the water, or she obviously will die, and she kind of has to hold her breath. I also made her a drowned. They too suffocate when they're out of water, and they're basically technically a human rather than the fish, so I guess the drowned does make a bit more sense than the fish, but I mean, I had to make it anyway, so yeah, on to the next one. Now this next one is quite cool because in my opinion it's actually quite cute, and yes, I did recycle this from my last video, and that is Tubby. As you may have guessed, he chose the bee origin. I'm pretty sure the full name is like Bumblebee or something like that, but obviously he can sting people by just punching them, which in my opinion is quite overpowered to be fair, and he can also fly. Now I'm pretty sure in the actual server there are restrictions of like where he can fly. I'm not too sure about that, but I do know that he likes to eat flowers because that's actually the only thing that he can eat. And in general, if a bee does something, so does Tubbo. The next one is also quite epic because it is sneegsnag. Now his power is being able to become really small. As I said, sneegsnag's origin is that he's smaller, which in my opinion is actually a really cool power. I mean, he can like sneak around people, he can hide in little places. I mean, he can basically do anything as long as he doesn't get spotted, which is made pretty easy for him. So I do think it's a pretty cool power. Now I did also make him an adult piglin, but we don't focus on that obviously, but he does look pretty cool in my opinion when he holds a sword. I mean, his skin honestly kind of fits the piglin, but don't worry, he will still steal your gold, so you should probably stay away from him at all costs. Now this next one is pretty epic, and that's because it is Phil's on Minecraft, and if you haven't guessed, I made him the Ender Dragon. Look at this dragon and tell me it is not epic. You just can't. I personally really like how it turned out. I mean, from the head to the details on the neck to even the wings. I really do like how it turned out. Hopefully you guys do too. Now the reason why I made him the Ender Dragon is because he chose the Elytran origin, meaning he has an elytra and he can obviously fly everywhere. Now the thing is, his ability is so good that I couldn't just put him on a chicken or something, or a parrot even, so I had to make him the Ender Dragon. Plus, I mean, I guess it makes sense that I made him the Ender Dragon, because after all, you get your elytra in the end, or more specifically in the end cities, so it makes sense that he's the Ender Dragon. If you want to play around with this texture pack, it is in the description. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.